Lightning could start even more blazes. In Western Europe, catastrophic flooding.
As rescue workers begin clearing away the wreckage, questions are being asked about how Germany's elaborate flood warning system failed. German officials said the system, which includes a network of sensors that measure river levels in real time, functioned as it was supposed to. But with so much rain in such a short period of time, they say it was next to impossible to react quickly.
CBS's Imtiaz Tayyab tells us the death toll has climbed above 180 now. There's still hundreds more missing. Dozens are sick at a Six Flags water park near Houston. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo says a chemical leak in the kiddie pool is to blame.
A lifeguard was sick, and soon after that, more and more people began becoming sick. Children were walking out of the pool with respiratory issues.
The park has been shut down while they investigate the leak. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
This week's Pro Basketball Update brought to you by Credit Karma. We're into week 2 of the finals, and what a series it's been. East and West continue to collide, with Phoenix pushing the pace and Milwaukee playing that tough defense. Some experts say it could come down to which team can remain injury-free. The fans can't wait to see how it turns out. Right now, visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and start winning instant karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow, here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code SKY, S-K-Y, for this amazing special.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL AM/FM.com.
Limited sunshine in the forecast today, and it will be hot and humid. Temperatures are expected to climb into the upper 80s this afternoon. I do expect showers and thunderstorms to develop across the area. A few of those thunderstorms becoming strong at times, producing heavy rain and frequent lightning, so watch out for that and keep the rain gear nearby.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan, will be along with your full weather forecast. An infant is the latest murder victim in the city of New Orleans. WWL TV's Tan Trong filed this report from the scene.
This all started around 6:30 when police responded to this area of the 7th Ward because of a disturbance. When the first officers got near the intersection of North Broad Avenue and Columbus Street, they found the boy's body inside of that basket. The coroner will determine the cause of death, but a police spokesman said the baby had obvious signs of trauma. That's why this is now a homicide investigation. Police also found a woman along with this baby boy at this area. Now, they can't say if the woman is the mother of the boy, and they haven't deemed her a suspect. She is now a person of interest and was taken to the hospital to be checked out.
Crews continue to search Jean Lafitte Preserve for the body of a missing 4-year-old boy. WWL TV's Devin Bartolotta has the story.
In Jefferson Parish, the search continues today for 4-year-old Ellis Bodine. He's believed to be in the Twin Canals in the John Lafitte National Park. Bodine, who has autism, went missing Thursday night. Officials say he was at the park with his mother and sister when he slipped into the murky water and disappeared. Search crews tell us there is zero visibility and parts of the canal are 25 feet deep. Crews are using divers, canines, sonar, and cameras in an effort to find Bodine.
Here's Tim Zimmer with WWL Sports.
With the news on Friday that Saints defensive tackle Daniel Onyemata will receive a 6-game suspension to start the season, the Saints' depth on the defensive line just got even thinner. The Saints could also be without starting cornerback Marshawn Lattimore as well, who's waiting to hear back from the NFL following his arrest in March in Cleveland for a possession of a stolen gun. With uncertainty on the defense, the Cajun Cannon Bobby Hebert thinks a few key pieces could be the difference in a game or two.
There's not much difference than going 10-7. There's not much difference than going 10-7 or 9-8 or, God forbid, 7-10. What? The Who Dat Nation ain't accepting those 7-10. boy, you're gonna have some close games where the guys that you miss could make a difference.
Anyamata will return for the Saints in Week 8 as the Saints have a bye week in Week 6. He recorded a career-high 6.5 sacks last season. Also in the news, former Saints wide receiver Ted Ginn Jr. announced his retirement yesterday. Ginn played in the NFL for 14 seasons and acquired 5,742 yards receiving. Tim Zimmer, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Another hot and humid day across southeast Louisiana, and we'll see a little bit of sunshine here and there, but numerous showers and storms are expected to develop across the area. A few of those storms may become strong, producing heavy rain and frequent lightning, so look out for that, and temperatures will be a few degrees below average, climbing into the upper 80s. Tomorrow doesn't get any better. Another wet day for many of us across the area. I do expect scattered showers and storms to develop later on in the afternoon hours. And again, a few of those may become strong, producing heavy rain, which may lead to some street flooding. So watch out for that. The good news about the rain is going to keep temperatures below average, climbing into the upper 80s. From your Weather Expert Forecast Center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
WWL, the news talk sports powerhouse of the Gulf South. It's all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyer, all things legal. Legal gets called 260-1870. And you get the question. Good morning, Albert.
Hey, Doug. Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. I guess we're in the middle of July, and we're about a week away from Saints training camp, and the Saints have had some additional news. David Ayamata, who is probably the anchor of the defensive line, or the interior defensive line, will be suspended for six games. So we have that. We have Marshall Lattimore. This year is going to be different, for better or for worse. So, we're going to have, I think Coach Payton's going to have to do his best coaching job that he's probably in his 14 or 15 years he's been here in order to get this team to, get over 500 into the playoffs. But I would think that, Ayamata, they said it was something in his supplements that is performance enhancing. Wouldn't you think that somebody would check that out? In other words, it would have, someone would check it out as far as when he takes the supplements, run it by NFL, run it by the Saints. I mean, that's sort of interesting.
Wouldn't you think? Would you think Lattimore wouldn't be in possession of a stolen gun? I mean, there's a lot of things you would think that these guys are millionaire professionals, and it's amazing to me.
They're young. That's the only thing.
A lot of people are young, and don't, and don't possess stolen firearms. And why is it stolen? I mean, the guy can't afford to have to buy his own gun, and register a gun or go buy it at a gun shop or whatever. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I mean, they got so much riding on it, so much their careers, their everything else. It's kind of like the girl that did not qualify for the Olympics because of marijuana. She's got to know they're going to be testing her, right? And she's got to know that's a banned substance. And so every day you're out there working hard. I mean, you can't imagine the degree to which these people focus and push themselves, and you're going to do something stupid like that. I mean, I don't get it, and but it is what it is.
Yeah, Olympics start next. I think they start Friday. Is it?
They start Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you? What is your interest level?
So you can't.
Oh yeah.
You can't participate. You can't participate in women's Olympic sports if you're smoking marijuana. But if you're a male and you feel like you're a woman, you can't. So the world is upside down.
Oh yeah, that's horrible. The thing I don't understand is for so many years you had a lot of good activism as far as to get pretty much female women's and male Olympics. It's all going even keel and an equal. I don't understand why the people who fought so hard to get the equal equality is now sort of a lot of them mute as far as this man competing as a woman in the Olympics. Now they had back in tennis,
right? All the Title IX, all that stuff that they put forward to make women's sports more on an equal footing, and now you're going to let men compete. It's just it's I don't know. Just keep pushing it.
Now,
we don't care about the consequences.
Now the rules are rules. I mean, I guess they had the rules with marijuana, but marijuana is not performance enhancing.
And I agree with that. I think that's kind of silly, but
But on the other hand, it's just the inconsistent application of rules is saying we're going to ban a non-performance enhancing substance, but we're going to allow a substance that alters your I guess externally appears to alter your biology, which it doesn't, because you're still a man in this situation. Right. And allow and alter the chemical composition of this person so they can gain an unfair advantage in participating as a woman. And it's just, who would have thought? Yep. Well, I mean, I don't know. Who would have thought about Bruce Jenner when we were watching him in 1976 win in the decathlon, waving the American flag, that he would be where he is right now. But
well, it's funny because there's a photograph of Howard Cosell standing in between Bruce Jenner and O.J. Simpson, and the caption is Cosell saying, "I looked into the future, and y'all aren't going to believe this."
Oh man! So also too, Louisiana has signed in, has officially licensed DraftKings to be the so that now you can, in 47 parishes, you can gamble on Saints games as opposed to going to the.
Wow, people can finally gamble on Saints games, huh?
Well, without going to the local bar or getting online,
right.
Betting with someplace in the Caymans. But I mean, look, there's been gambling
or calling Louis. This is number 263. Give me this +6.
Yeah, they've been gambling on gambling in Louisiana since the Anvil came here in the 1700s. So it's nothing new. It's just now going to go mainstream. And
exactly.
The interesting part of this was when I was an agent 32 years ago, they warned us to stay away from professional gamblers. Stay away from professional gamblers whose last name ended in a vowel. No, I'm just kidding. Just stay clear. Keep your players clear away from them. We just don't want to have an association between them. I mean, the old guys who listen to the show remember the Paul Hornung, Alex Karras suspension from I think 1965. And so in fact, the NFL would not even consider having a gambling casino 30 years ago or a gambling company or gaming company sponsor a team. In other words, if they could sponsor them, they said absolutely not. We wanted to keep an arm's distance length from between gambling and professional sports. And in the course of 35 or 40 years, they are embracing it with a bear hug now. And it's just very interesting, the evolution of that. In fact, There was talk 30 years ago about having a team in Las Vegas, and the NFL was against it because it was Las Vegas. And in fact, I do remember they were having some trepidations about, whether they could even play a preseason game there. And so, they've gone from that to having totally embracing, gambling. And I think one of the things that would be different is now that it's mainstream, it's going to be a lot more accessible. So it's going to be a lot more.
Oh, absolutely. And, I'll be curious to see how much effect it has on the game, how many players might be, tempted, because there's going to be now so much money. Not that there wasn't before, but there's going to be so much money on games and the outcome of games and whether players are going to be influenced, here or there by it, and all you need to do is get a hold of a quarterback or a cornerback. Let this guy run past you for a touchdown, make it look good. Well, and then next thing it's quickly different.
Now, I don't know if this, are they going to do over-unders? Like, I guess they'll do over-unders like for Alvin Kamara for 80 yards.
What you mean?
Like in the betting. Well, I guess they will have, the secondary bets saying that if Alvin Kamara plays,
I'm sure they're going to have every bet known to man. Right. You want to bet on the coin toss? Why not?
Well, here's what I see the problem is I know, like, for example, I knew 30 years ago, like a player would say, hey, we don't match up with the Colts very well. They match up good with us, even though we're favored. It's going to be a tough game. All right. Or a lot of the players can see, or they have a game plan. Or the coach walks in and says, look, we're going to abandon the running game and we're going to pass. Okay? We're going to go with pass first. And this is their vulnerability. All right. So you have a running back who's got an over-under of 80 yards for that game. Maybe it's more likely that he'll go under. Or maybe, or they walk in and say, okay, we're going to run. And run first. And the player comes in and says, hey, this is my week. Tell somebody that, So
right.
It's going to be a different deal. And, I'm anxious to see what the integrity of the game was always sacred. And now there's a little portal for transgression involving the integrity.
And listen, not that there wasn't a portal before. I mean, how easy would it be? Yeah. How easy would it be? Like I said, look, you this is the last year of your career. You could care less about this team. Here's $500,000. Give up a touchdown or two. Cornerback.
How many games do you see, like, where somebody misses an extra point or something, fluky happens that happened to be on that
the Saints Minnesota playoff game? How freaky was that?
Yeah. So you said, oh my goodness. It's
just like, wait, you're going to run up and fall down and woof the tackle?
Yeah. So,
that's crazy.
All right. Well, I hear the music. Let's go to break. Next is Terry Albert. We'll be right back after this.
Keep it locked on WWL for breaking sports news. Brought to you by Odyssey and presented by the NBA.
Okay, I have a young lady on the phone. Her name is Leslie from New Orleans. She has a question about a tax lien on a vacant lot that she had and some problems with some other problems with it also.
Being able to block somebody's craving, that is the nugget. That's the secret. You can detox somebody and get the substance removed from the system physically, but it doesn't change the brain. A lot of people think people are trying to get high. They're trying to get relief is what's happening. They're afraid. They're hopeless. They really don't think that this can work. That they will trust just enough to let us get at least 4 or 5 days of the IV into their system. their life will change dramatically for the better.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center. 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
504-291-4000. 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center.
This is Attorney Doug Sunseri, host of All Things Legal on Sunday morning.
This is Attorney Michelle Demarest Sunseri. As a result of COVID-19, many are experiencing unique family law difficulties resulting in divorce and custody issues.
Also, we learn the importance of estate planning, wills, and powers of attorney.
At Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm, we make the complex understandable.
Call me at my Metairie office at 504-837-1304.
Or call me, the boss lady, on the North Shore at my new office in Mandeville at 985-624-9697.
Boss lady, really?
At Oakland Heart Jewelers, we offer a vast selection of breathtaking diamond jewelry. Choose from dazzling rings, earrings, bracelets, and necklaces like no other, and in every price range. Shop jewelry from the Oakland Heart Collection, designed exclusively for New Orleans by our award-winning craftsmen, right here in our Metairie Road store. For that special jewelry for that one-of-a-kind love, shop smart for the best prices possible at Oakland Heart Jewelers. Beautiful in more ways than one.
I'm Erin, and this is my life with California Closets. I purchased a historic home that's over 150 years old. One of the biggest things old houses don't have is closet storage and organization. And in a modern life, you really need to store a lot of things. Working with California Closets was the only way to get exactly what I needed. It really makes my life better. I finally have my dream home, and I couldn't be more thrilled about it.
Schedule your free design consultation today at CaliforniaClosets.com.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is its shield. That's why for nearly 30 years, homeowners have trusted Garcia Roofing. For more information, visit GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
Enjoy a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event. Get amazing savings with up to 50% off high-performance computers and tech built for business, and be able to take your office with you with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, get great offers on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL, and speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now, we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. All things legal. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Leslie. She's got a question regarding tax liens and a vacant lot, and Albert's on the phone, and he'll brief you on that. Hey, Leslie.
Okay, hi.
What'd you have?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
And thank you for taking my call. Okay, yeah, I had a problem. I have a tax lien on a vacant lot, and someone put a secondary lien after my lien. And this person, I believe, is a person because my name was forged on the quit claim deed. And I just found out. I went down to City Hall and asked why my tax lien was removed, because how I found out was the lot had a sign from the HDLC saying someone had applied to build on it. So they informed me that they were going to call the city attorney and that I should get an attorney. But what I'm asking is, I'm not exactly certain who would I be suing. Is it the title company or the person who sold it?
Well, you would bring an action against whoever received the deed when you quitclaimed it, and to establish it as a nullity because it was a forgery. And so you would file an action to annul quitclaim deed and bring in everybody, put them on notice, and you would file what is called a notice of lis pendens, basically pending litigation having to do with real estate. And so you would file a notice of lis pendens into the record into the mortgage record. So if somebody then goes to buy, build, do something with that house, then they they will know that they're going to do so at their own risk.
Okay.
And at that point, you'll hopefully get the attention of the new owner, the builders, whatever. I'm sure there's been more than one transfer.
Yes. Yes, there has been. In fact, I really believe that the person who sold it, the title company, and the new buyer all know each other and work together. And this is how that happened.
Okay,
I honestly...
Now, one thing I'll tell you... Yeah, Albert, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dad.
No, I would say, before Albert goes, I say, don't count on the city attorney calling you back, but Albert continues.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be the squeaky wheel on this. Your rights have been violated, and therefore you need to be the person that stands up, makes the city attorney do its job, investigating it, taking statements, doing whatever they need to do regarding this, because it's become a big issue down the road. And if it's easy for somebody to just forge a document and then flip it. Now was the document quit claim to a company, or was it quit claim to an individual?
An LLC.
Yeah, an LLC, right. So that's what they do, and that way they try to offer themselves a little protection. But if the LLC, you can get on the Secretary of State's website and figure out who owns that LLC. They'll have the owners and everything else listed. And I would bring those people into the lawsuit personally as well for all damages, lost profits, all, you name it.
Okay.
You also want to bring an action to file a nullity action, annulling the quitclaim on the property.
Yeah, Albert, and if you could explain just for what a quitclaim is.
Well, quitclaim is simply that I am releasing all of my interests. It's kind of a basic term, but I'm quitting. I'm out. I'm leaving. Any claim I might have to ownership of this property via the tax lien, via a valid purchase, whatever ownership interest you might have, whether it's through a succession or you name it. Any interest I have whatsoever, I'm signing my interest over to either another person, or I'm just relinquishing my interest in general. I'm just saying I don't own this property. If 2 or 3 other people claim it, I have no claim in the property. And so that's what happens. And you hear about this identity theft all the time. Where somebody files a quitclaim. And now they have this type of, I don't know if it's insurance or if they protect you if they hire a lawyer for you or something like that. But it's a new brand of theft where somebody files a quitclaim deed, and then a third party comes along and they record that deed. So in Louisiana, as a innocent third party, and that's why it's important what you said, that you think they know one another. But as an innocent third party, you have the right to rely on the public records. So if the public records say that the LLC that did the quitclaim was the owner of the property, look, I'm innocent. I'm just coming in buying this property. Therefore, I don't have any liability. So, then you're going to have to take steps to show that they knew or should have known, they knew each other, that there was some sort of action. So, that some sort of, subterfuge where they were in cahoots together. And so, you can issue discovery once you get into a litigation with them. But if they're gonna quit claim and lie and steal property from people in a tax sale, they're probably not going to produce any documents.
How much is this property worth?
It's probably worth about $35,000.
Okay. Yeah. Well then,
I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but at least that.
Albert, can you explain what list pendants is? Just for
Yeah. Well, the list pendants just puts third parties on notice that there's litigation with the property. And so, you file that list pendants and send it to all the parties involved saying, hey, look, and then anybody who does do a title search on that property, whether it's a mortgage company for permanent financing after a construction loan or whatever the case may be, or someone they may want to take and flip the house to after they built it, they're going to know, wait a minute, what's this lawsuit about? Oh, wait a minute, there's a cloud on the title.
Exactly, because I asked the city, why couldn't they just show my lien again? My lien's been removed off the website, showing that someone's got a tax lien, and they said they can't fix it. There's, I'm on my own, basically.
You have to fix it yourself. I mean, because you can't, in their position, you can't just get a phone call from somebody and say, hey, wait a minute. They need a judgment. They need, and according to them, this looks like an official document, right? It might have been, it would have had to have been notarized because it involves a movable property. So it would have had to have been in authentic form. And
exactly. The person who assisted me at City Hall said she could see my signature had nothing. There was no resemblance in the quit claim.
But there's going to be a notary on that quit claim as well. And you file suit against that notary and those two witnesses, and you bring them all in, and then let them all know that, we've got a problem here we need to address.
If the notary is an attorney, he would have, professional liability insurance would be a source of
recovery. Exactly.
And or a notary would probably have, insurance also. So,
yes. And I honestly, I could be wrong, but they sent some paperwork to my house. Someone came one day. This individual harassed me for several years to release the lien. I've never spoken to the person, but he's harassed my family, my children. And he sent someone to my door one day with paperwork. He knocked on the door and he said, oh, the state owes you some money. And I knew what it was about. I said, just put it in the mailbox. But the address at that time, I believe, matches the address of the new purchaser. So this is why I'm thinking it's the same. They changed the name of their company from one name to a different name, but still use the same address. So
you got a lot of pieces and parts. It sounds pretty complicated. I would just do a Zillow on it and see what you really think that property's worth, because it sounds like it's worth a lot more than $35,000, and you have to look at that to see whether you want to fight it, because it's going to be a lot of money. It's a lot of players. It's a lot of moving parts to try to peel the onion and get to the bottom of it. So that's a decision.
Well, thank you for all your help. I so appreciate it.
If you got more questions, call us at 504-837-1304, 504-837-1304, and point you in the right direction. All right, thanks for the call.
Okay,
let's go to a break, Dr. Sunseri. I'll be with some we'll be right back there.
On your next WWL First News, qualifying for New Orleans elections wraps up. Who are the major candidates on the ballot, and were there any surprises? Plus, overdose deaths.
Okay, no one's on the line right now.
3,000 last year during the pandemic. What can we do to curb drug use and save lives? Also, we'll have Monday morning markets with Mark Rosa to answer all your questions about the state of the stock market. Join me, Tommy Tucker, 6 till 10 a.m. right here on WWL.
And paid for by the Sentinel Group, non-attorney spokesperson. Attention. This is an important message for anyone diagnosed with Parkinson's disease after being exposed to paraquat or other similar herbicides. Paraquat is a chemical commonly used by farmers and those that work with or apply herbicides. Residences near agricultural sites are also at risk for exposure. Scientific research showed that exposure to paraquat close to a residence increased Parkinson's disease risk by 75%. Numerous additional studies confirmed the link between paraquat and increased risk for Parkinson's. In fact, paraquat has been banned or limited for use in many other countries around the world. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with Parkinson's after being exposed to paraquat or other herbicides and suffered side effects, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call us today at 800-376-8881. Our experienced attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-376-8881. Again, that's 800-376-8881.
This is Bobby Hebert from my friends at Clearwater Pools and Spas, your staycation headquarters. Let us make your backyard a great family vacation spot for the summer. They're the trusted leader in water treatment and offer the largest selection in above-ground pools, spas, and hot tubs, including hot spring spas. They're the only factory authorized and trained in pristine blue and oxygen sanitizing systems. Visit cwnola.com or one of our locations in Covington, Metairie, Baton Rouge, and Pearl, Mississippi. Clearwater Pools and Spas.
This year, give her what she really wants. Diamond stud earrings from Oakland Heart. When she sees that Oakland Heart box, she'll know they're the best. What she won't know is that you got the very best price possible. Oakland Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road.
Rejuvenate your weekends with Rejuvame. RejuvameMedical.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790.
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. During summer, be sure to use dishwashers and stoves in the evening to minimize the effects of heat. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
All things legal on WWL-AMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
All right, we're back. Let's compare Albert Often, Albert gives many explanation on uninsured motorists. And I don't know if any of all students are listening to us, but if they listen to Albert in the next 5 minutes, they'll understand the difference between titles and warranties if they have maybe in Mississippi. And if you're a law student, listen, because Albert will condense a whole semester of real estate in 5 minutes. So Albert, can you talk? Making the complex understandable, but can you tell us the difference between titles and warranties? Because there's warranties in Mississippi. We have a lot of Mississippi listeners, and there's titles in Louisiana, and the difference between them.
Yeah, well, it's very similar. A warranty deed is an actual piece of paper. It's a deed. It's your title to the property. It's your ownership proof, right? Whereas a title, there's something in Louisiana that's really sacrosanct. It's called the public records doctrine. And so basically, if I sell you a house and you buy the house from me, but you don't record that act of sale in the mortgage records in the parish where the property is located, then what happens is a third party, like I said, an innocent third party, can come along and say, gee whiz, Albert still owns the house according to the public record. So I could effectively sell that house again if you don't record that that act of sale, and I can sell the house again to a third party, and then the third party then can come along and say, hey, look, I own this house. I own this house. You have to get out. And if you have a claim, you got your claim against Albert for selling it twice. You don't have a claim against me because I looked in the public records, and in the public records, it shows that Albert's still the owner. And I see this a lot in terms of trusts. People will create trusts, and they will place real estate into a trust, but not record a notice of trust in the parish identifying that transfer of real estate to the trust. And so what happens is a third party coming along, can then go purchase the property from the owner of the property before the property was transferred to trust. And, it's just a mistake people make. And that's about, if you go to a title company, you go to a real estate agent, you go to England, they know that it has to be recorded in the mortgage conveyance records, and so they're going to do what they can to protect you. I mean, that's just part of their knee-jerk process, the rubber stamp. They do it day in and day out. But if you buy a piece of property from someone or transfer a piece of property from someone, receive a piece of property transferred to you, be sure that is recorded. And of course, in Mississippi, you've got to have that paperwork transferring that warranty deed.
Now, tell us about what is title insurance in Louisiana, and why is that probably a good idea to get for most?
Well, title insurance, it's a rarity. One of the things, whenever there's a mortgage involved, the mortgage company is going to make you purchase title insurance, and you're going to have to pay for title insurance. And basically, the title insurance is going to protect the mortgage company's investment of their loan to you. And so they're going to do whatever they can, and depending on how much money you put up, there's PMI, it's personal mortgage insurance or property mortgage insurance, whatever the acronym. But basically, it's mortgage insurance. That way, if you don't pay your mortgage, there's a separate insurance company that the mortgage company can then go after and get the mortgage paid for. And so, depending on how much you put down on your loan, if you don't, they're going to make you pay that mortgage until there's an 80% loan to value, and not a 95%, for instance. So when you're down to 80%, they're like, okay, they can make payments on their loan sufficiently. We can remove that type of insurance. So, but getting back to title insurance, it just confirms that you have the title attorney, typically that does the closing, will sit down, order an abstract, base his or her title opinion. They give a title opinion to the title insurance company, saying, "Look, this has a clear title. There are no clouds on the title, and we feel like it's a safe transaction." And it enforces or forces the sale and the title company and the attorney handling the title attorney's office to take all the necessary steps, to order an abstract, to make sure that if there are any clouds in the title. Wait a minute, you're one of the heirs and you bought the interest of 6 other heirs out, but you didn't buy this heir. So this other heir that's still out there has an interest in the property. We need to clear up this title. And so once that's all cleared up, then the title attorney gives a clear title opinion to the title insurer, and then they write the policy. And then it protects you, and it also, but primarily it protects the mortgage company, because of course they have first rights to any money that is paid.
Yeah, and I think Well, first of all, see, there's a bunch of law students about to take the bar. They now understand real estate section of the bar, of the bar right now. So that is good. But mortgages, I guess, when you do a loan for which 99% of residential purchases have a loan, the mortgage company is going to arrange for the title insurance and the PMI. They have as much of an interest as the homeowner to make sure that the security for their loan is valid, and they don't want to be caught.
Oh yeah, they have more of an interest. I mean, they've put up the bulk of the money for the property in more often than not. So the mortgage company might have put up 80-90% of the money to purchase the home, and so they have quite an interest in making sure that they get that money back somehow if there's some sort of problem. So,
all right. Well, that's the primer, and you law graduates who are taking the bar, you probably got a better chance of passing now if you listen closely and took notes. So, all right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you can lawyers all things legal. We'll be right back.
Dealing with adversity and finding ways to unify and overcome it will always be part of our future. The new season of Hope Through History, a documentary podcast presentation from C13 Originals in association with the History Channel, written and narrated by me, John Meacham, features moments in our nation's past when we faced challenges as a country and as a world. Listen and follow Season 2 of Hope Through History, available now wherever you get.
Okay, you have just a little under 8 minutes before the top of the hour news.
You did it. You found true love, your soulmate. You didn't settle. You searched until you found your perfect match. At Oakland Heart Jewelers, we never settle either. We constantly search the world's diamond markets for those special diamonds to create that extra special engagement ring. We offer a vast selection of unique and popular engagement ring styles, many designed and created by our own award-winning master craftsmen. We're passionate about creating the highest quality ring at the best price you'll find anywhere. So, how do we do it? We buy direct from diamond cutters all around the world, getting the lowest possible prices before they are even available to others. You didn't settle when it came to love. Why settle for ordinary when you can give extraordinary for less at Oakland Heart? Shop smart. Nothing compares to true love, and nothing compares to Oakland Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road. Beautiful in more ways than one.
The most important financial decision you'll make isn't picking the next hot stock or fund manager. It's selecting the right financial advisor. How do you pick the advisor that's right for you? Find out in a special virtual event with New York Times bestselling author Rick Edelman, Tuesday, July 20th at 3 p.m. or at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's free. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. During the event, you'll get advice on how to select the right financial advisor, and you'll get a list of the 11 must-ask questions you can carry with you when you interview financial advisors. If you already have an advisor, you can use the list to evaluate if they are right for you. The virtual event will give you all the information you need to help you make the right decision, and Rick will make it entertaining. The presentation is free, so register right now for this special virtual event on July 20th at 3 p.m. or at 8 p.m. Eastern. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. That's EdelmanFinancialEngines.com.
Hi, folks. Joel Myers for my friends at Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. If you're in the market for a great pre-owned luxury vehicle, look no further than Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans, where you can shop from a large selection of top luxury brands, including BMW, Lexus, Range Rover, Cadillac, Infiniti, and many others. Of course, we have a large selection of top-quality certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz vehicles as well. Because at Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans, we get the nicest pre-owned vehicles from the nicest people, our customers. Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans, Veterans Boulevard in Metairie.
Enjoy a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event. Get amazing savings with up to 50% off high-performance computers and tech built for business, and be able to take your office with you with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, get great offers on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. And speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today.
Hey, we get it. You don't want to be hearing a Progressive commercial right now, so let us
Hey,
tell you
this is the
something
last
you
spot
do
we
want to
set.
hear. No one is funnier than you. People laugh just thinking about the things you've said. I'm laughing at one of them right now. Coworkers repeat your jokes at the office, but they're never as good as when you tell them, and shame on them for trying. There. Don't you feel better? You'll also feel better knowing you could save when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Although I'm sure you'd have a funnier way to say that. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinion shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you can order all things legal. Talking a little real estate, and Albert, we're talking about titles. Let me ask you a few things for new homeowners. You know, there's still, the real estate market is just hot in Jefferson Parish and somewhat in Orleans Parish, North Shore. Tell us about when a property is purchased without warranty and the interaction with property disclosures, and how does that shake out?
Oh, we could spend 2 hours on that, but the real estate agents have kind of changed that. They're big lobby, the real estate brokers, the realtors, and they've changed things because they kind of kept getting brought into litigation for these disclosure issues, and so there used to be a questionnaire that said, is there any defect? Are you aware of any defect in the electrical system? Let's say, and the answer was yes, no, or unknown. And so now it's just a yes or an unknown. And so everybody checks off unknown throughout because they don't want to be held liable for any issues that may exist. We kind of go into the whole warranty thing, right? So in Louisiana, there is a warranty against retrocession, and this isn't under new homes. New homes have their own set of laws under the New Home Warranty Act when you purchase a home from a builder, or even not from a builder. If you purchase it from a third party who purchased it from a builder, you can still tack that warranty through the 5-year new home warranty period. But that's a different topic. Getting onto the just an existing home that's not a brand new home that's on the market for the first time. There is a presumption in Louisiana that the thing you sell is being sold and it is fit for its intended purpose. That you're selling it with the warranty that I'm selling you this house and pretty much everything works. Okay. But the law also states that you can waive that warranty as a buyer. You can come into a contract and say, listen, I'm waiving that warranty because this is a house, there are too many moving parts, and it's too burdensome for the seller to warrant everything that in this particular house. So it's become just very common practice that in every real estate transaction, you will waive your rights for what is called retrocession. And retrocession is a claim against a seller for defects that they knew or should have known, that either in the claim would be either a reduction in the purchase price or a return of the purchase price. And so everybody essentially waives that. Okay. But then the law goes on to say, if you waive it, you still will have a claim against a seller that knew or should have known of a defect and failed to disclose it, or represented to you that the home had a condition which they knew or should have known it didn't have. And so if you can prove that, then you can either get a reduction in the purchase price to the extent of the defect, or if the defect renders the home so imperfect and so, defective, you can get a return of the purchase price. and you also get attorney's fees, and you also get any improvements you put in or any expenses you have in the cost of the sale, so the closing costs and realtor fees and those things can come back to you. So that's the warranty. So it's very important that that this disclosure statement from the seller's side be properly executed. What happens quite frequently, and I know we're getting close to the top of the hour, but what happens quite frequently is a real estate agent will come into possession of a home inspection report and then pass it on to their buyer, to their seller, and say, yeah, you've got problems with the air conditioning, problems with the roof, and this is a defect in the plumbing. And so they point out all these things. Well, next thing you know, that buyer walks away. I don't want to deal with all those problems. A new buyer comes along, and neither the real estate agent nor the seller identifies those defects or discloses those defects to the new buyer. And now the new buyer buys the home. If through discovery they find out, if there's a lawsuit down the road, if they find out, hey, look, we found out that you've got other problems, you knew about them because you got a home inspection report that shows them, and you failed to disclose them to me, you essentially committed a fraud, right? So now I have a claim against you. I have a claim against the real estate agent for not disclosing it to my agent, and I also have claims for attorney's fees, reduction of purchase price, all those sorts of things. Now, on the other side, if the defect is open and obvious upon simple inspection, you can't then make a claim for it. If you can look around and say, look, there's a hole in the floor, and it's open and obvious, there's a hole in the floor, you can't come back and say, hey, wait a minute, there's a hole in the floor, you knew about it, I want a reduction in the purchase price. So, and there's a lot of litigation in between, that and what is simple inspection and what is, what should you have discovered upon inspection, et cetera.
So, but without warranty basically covers you saying you sell it as is, and in absence of fraud, probably the without warranty provision will stick for the most part.
Correct. In the second hour, I'd like to talk about that. And I'm got on TV right now one of those DIY flip 'em shows, right? Yeah, here's how to flip houses. I want to talk about that because those people that are doing flipping become contractors, and if they become a contractor, even though they're not licensed, they can have liability and for any damages or any defects in a home by virtue of the fact that they were the contractor, because the civil code makes them a manufacturer of the thing, and therefore you're presumed to know of the defects.
All right, that's for hour number 2. So stay tuned for that local news. We're back for hour number 2 and all things legal. So stay tuned. We'll see you in about 10 minutes on all things legal.
The News Talk Sports Leader, WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
It's CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington. Dangerous wildfires continue out west. The Tamarack fires burning near the Nevada state line. Andrea Fearley had to evacuate her home.
Everything here has been rebuilt, and this is the second time this area has been threatened.
And the heat wave isn't helping things as it continues out west, says CBS meteorologist Jeff Biardelli.
Glasgow, Montana, 104 degrees on Sunday, and on Monday it is even hotter, 107. Some places in Montana could see a week plus of 100 degrees or more. So it looks like the heat is here to last for at least a little while.
A lot of panic during last night's Nationals-Padres game in Washington, D.C. Inside the stadium, the PA announcer tried to calm the crowd after gunshots were heard from outside Nats Park.
Attention, please. We ask that you remain inside the stadium at this time.
I'm CBS News correspondent Chris Van Cleve in Washington. I was at the Washington Nationals-San Diego Padres game when the sound of gunshots interrupted the game. The gunfire coming from outside the park, but it caused fans to run for the exits. Hundreds of fans racing out of the center field gate, looking for a safe place. Others ducked down between the rows of seats, taking cover, fearing an active shooter.
3 people were shot in what police say was a drive-by shooting. The game was suspended. It will be made up this afternoon. Masks are back in the biggest county in the country, vaccinated or not.
A new Los Angeles County mandate requiring vaccinated and unvaccinated people to mask up indoors takes effect this weekend. But saying it's not backed by science, LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva tweeted that his department doesn't have the resources to enforce the mandate.
That's CBS's Michael George. In Britain,
just hours before Britain lifts all COVID restrictions on so-called Freedom Day on Monday, the country's Treasury Secretary has tested positive for COVID-19, which means that his close colleague, the Prime Minister himself, Boris Johnson, is heading for self-isolation. It's embarrassing for the government, which is already under fire as the UK's COVID infection rate rockets up just as the country is about to be declared fully open.
CBS's Elizabeth Palmer. And in Rome, from a window overlooking St. Peter's Square, Pope Francis spoke to the faithful, telling them they should take a break and switch off all the stresses of modern life. It's his first public appearance since his surgery happened 2 weeks ago. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today. Paid for by government.com.
Have you heard? A recent stash of 1866 to 1899 $10 gold Liberty coins has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the 1800s, and less than 50 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-356-6468, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty struck from 1866 to 1899 at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold coins minted in the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is 122 to 155 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-356-6468. Call now, and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-356-6468 now to secure your 1866p to 1899p Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-356-6468.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL AM/FM and .com.
Hot and humid today, and we won't see a whole lot of sunshine. Mostly cloudy conditions are in the forecast, and numerous showers and thunderstorms are expected to develop across the area throughout the day. It will be spotty, not everybody's going to see them, and a few of those storms are expected to become strong at times, producing heavy rain and frequent lightning. Temperatures are expected to climb into the upper 80s this afternoon.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. What to do about crime will be center stage among candidates running for office in Orleans Parish. WWL TV's Tan Trong has the details.
Homicides, shootings, and carjackings in New Orleans are up double-digit percentage points compared to last year, and those numbers are even greater going back to 2019. City elections will take place in the fall, and soon candidates will be laying out their plans to reduce crime in the city.
I think we need evidence and facts, not rhetoric.
LSU criminologist Dr. Peter Scharf says, in a post-George Floyd world, there seems to be two competing views on policing.
One is the problem is the police, and the other is the problem is not enough police.
Not enough police is a challenge New Orleans.
The state's first ever veto override session gets going on Tuesday. With the story is WWL TV's Paul Dudley.
For the first time since Louisiana's current constitution was enacted in 1974, lawmakers have decided to hold a veto override session. Many Republicans want the session because they're looking to overturn certain vetoes made by Governor John Bel Edwards. This includes the bill he vetoed that would have banned transgender athletes from competing on girls' sports teams at schools, and one that would have removed restrictions on concealed handguns. Some state lawmakers say they're ready to return whether they support the veto session or not.
Here's Tim Zimmer in WWL Sports.
NFL free agent Richard Sherman was the highly touted free agent still available on the market, but after his arrest earlier this week, his chances of making it back on an NFL roster are now in doubt. Sherman was charged with 5 misdemeanor charges, including 2 domestic violence counts, all in which he pleaded not guilty to. Our WWL, NFL, and college football analyst Mike Detillier thinks at his age, football could be all but over for the 5-time All-Pro cornerback.
You know, if this is a 25-year-old player, that's a different story because there is a part of, I guess, our culture of forgiving, and redemption. But as you get older as an athlete and you're into your 30s and all of a sudden you take a year off and try to come back, it's really, really difficult.
Sherman's charges are punishable up to 90 days in jail. Tim Zimmer, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Limited sunshine is in the forecast today, and numerous showers and thunderstorms are expected to develop across the area. It will be hit or miss. Not everybody's going to see them, and a few of those storms may become strong at times, producing heavy rain and frequent lightning. Temperatures are expected to climb into the upper 80s this afternoon, and it will be humid. Tomorrow doesn't get any better. That typical summer-like pattern where we'll see a little bit of sunshine here and there, but showers and storms are expected to fire up as we get that daytime heating during the afternoon hours.
Okay, here we go.
Storms may become strong, producing heavy rain, which may lead to some street flooding. But the good news about the rain is going to keep our temperatures below average, climbing into the upper 80s. From your Weather Expert Forecast Center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Nicaud Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back for hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Call 260-1870. Before we go back to real estate, I guess our discussion now, we're going to discuss a little bit more about real estate. LSU, UCLA is 48 days away. I am going to endure the People's Republic of California to go and do one of my bucket list activities of going to the Rose Bowl. So it's happening quick. So I'll endure all the Marxists and enjoy the game. The second thing is, the Pelicans are closing in on Willie Green as their coach, Albert. So you remember when Willie played he played 1 year for the Hornets, I think in 2010, 2011. And he was like a Monty Williams type, a Monty type player, where he was sort of not a journeyman. He was a good player who played more cerebral or with his mind than to play. He was one of those guys who was able to stay in the league because he was a smart player. And,
right.
But as far as assistant coach is concerned, you never know how they're going to translate to be a head coach. You just don't.
Yeah.
Because there's some,
and that seems to be what we get. Here in New Orleans is the assistant coach that maybe has a coach somewhere else. And look, I'm always willing to take a chance on a guy like that. What has been lacking over the last, 2 or 3 coaching staffs is instructing and coaching these players on the proper way to finish a game, to hold a lead and finish a game, to win close games. Because, you factor in the close games, and even if you can win 60 or 70% of the ones that they've all lost over these years, you're in the playoffs, or you're a higher seed in the playoffs. And those close games are essential. You've got to be able to hold on to a lead, know what to do with the ball, not give it to one player. Right? I'm not a big fan of that. stick with what you've been doing. Stick with what you've been doing. Run the same plays you've been running. Run the same offense you've been running instead of dribbling it down one-on-one, thinking that, relying on just that one shot that may or may not be, depending on the defense, a great shot. It might be a poor shot selection, that's all that's left and there's no time left on the clock. And, the example of that this year has been Brandon Ingram, who, they would do a one-on-one and he would just hold the ball until the end and shoot a shot. And, and everybody knew that's what was going to happen. And, sometimes they would double it. And then in the year prior to that, it was Drew Holiday, and I love Drew, and he's in a perfect scenario now because he's not.
He won the game last night.
Yeah, I understand, but he's not the guy. They're not relying on him to make that guy. Right? He contributes, however he contributes, and does so brilliantly. Best defensive player in the NBA. But besides that, you got to be able to just work your game, just do what you do, and get that good shot. If you don't, kick it out, get another shot, and then rely on your defense to come back and stop them on the other end. If you're down one going into the last 30 seconds of the game. But go ahead.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about Willie Green. He on the surface, he's got the potential to be a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he could probably relate to today's players a lot better. But you just don't know if those skills transfer. You won't know until he's a head coach whether it's transferable to a head coach. Because a lot of assistant coaches who are great assistant coaches do not make good head coaches, and some assistant coaches become great. Now, like Monty Williams, when he came to the Pelicans, he learned cut his teeth on the Pelicans, or the Hornets at the time, Pelicans. And then he took that experience, and then when he got his second crack at Phoenix, he's in the finals. And they're a good team, but he's done a phenomenal coaching job. So, a lot of times when you are like Bill Belichick was at Cleveland first, and a lot of he was fired and then went to New England. So, some assistant coaches pick it up right away. Some become head coaches. Some of them go through a job, say, this is what I did wrong. Coach O is one of those guys. He went from assistant to Ole Miss. He wrote a book on what he did, what he would want to do differently the second time around, and he's applied that. So it'll be interesting to see, Willie Green. When we hired Alvin Gentry, he was the top assistant at Golden State after they won their championships. So we will see. So that's good. I tell you what, I will say this about Pelicans. They got 1 year to convince Zion that they have a possibility of being, a perennial playoff team who can make the conference finals. If they don't do it this year, I think there's a very good chance that he's going to start going south or going the way of Chris Paul and Anthony Davis. And this front office really needs to figure out their identity and stick with it. They've been very schizophrenic. 1 year we're going to play from baseline to baseline. Next year we're going to play defense. Half court. They just don't know who they are. And so,
And they're two players away. I think they need to find a pure stand on the corner and shoot the ball that can make 40-50% of the 3-point shots that they take. Just give that guy the opportunity to stand there because they're going to double Zion in the middle. They're going to double him. And so once they do and collapse, that kick-out shot has to be there. And then all of a sudden, once they have to respect that pure shooter, then Zion's going to have more room in the paint to do what he does. And they need that. And then they need to upgrade. I like the Steven Adams selection. Well, I do because I tell you, he rebounds like crazy. He sticks around for offensive rebounds. He's a big force in the middle, and he is what they needed when Anthony Davis was around. now let Steven Adams push right back. We really don't need him on offense too much. So let him get beat up, let him take all the licks, and we'll save Anthony Davis for scoring and, rebound on the offensive end and doing what he can do. But they need that shooter. They need to find that person that can just, that can give them that 15, 18 points a game at the 3-point line. Somebody that can play good defense, but just stand there and fill it up. And every team's got, those one or two players that can step in and make an open three. And when you have that, then all of a sudden the court gets a lot bigger.
Yeah, well, I think Steven Adams, they got a big contract on him, he's overpaid. And that's why I was saying that he's a good player, but the lack of vision. With Zion playing in the interior, Steven Adams really needed a center who could, maybe one of those European centers who can get out there and hit the 18-footer, open the middle up. But with him and Zion, you got it's too crowded, and he can't work. And I think they, ultimately they needed him, but they probably overpaid him, and they'll probably have to give something away to shed his contract if somebody else wants him. And also, too, in the middle of July, if you listen to WWL all week, they were, they had the Manning Passing Academy. And I wanted to bring that up with you, Albert. I think if they had the Manning Passing Academy when you were a quarterback in St. Paul's, you may still be playing.
Actually, I probably wouldn't have even been invited.
No, they would have. They would have had you in the remedial class, maybe, and they would have brought you through.
Right. Well, look at this project right here, right?
Right. Well, but if they had to, you see, and you made the mistake, from what I understand. You went to the Guido Merkins Passing Academy, and that just didn't work out the way you needed it to work out. So,
but the funny part, the exception of one guy, I was bigger than everybody on the offensive line. At 6'1", 190, I was so we didn't have a big beefy offensive line. It was these 600 kids in the school. 300 of them were boarders that mostly did not participate in sports. So we were down to 300 kids to compete in AAA back then, and so we you kind of hodgepodge and of course we played all the public school teams across the lake. Ponchatoula, Amite, Salmon, Bogalusa, Franklinton. So these kids were just loaded with athletes, and we ended up competing in every game but one. And in fact, it was Salmon beat us pretty good, and the quarterback at the time was Alan Risher. He and I were the same age. And Alan, of course, went on to LSU and actually played in the pros for a little bit. But yeah, so we got pretty blown out by them. But otherwise, we were less than a touchdown away from every other team. We come for 1 point game, 2 point game. So they got the most out of us that they could. But it was a struggle.
Because I think if you would have went to the Manning Passing Academy when it was 3rd and 28, they might have called a passing play. Because when it's 3rd and 28, what they was told, they'd say they just run the belly play or the option because they're like. And the other theory was they thought you might have been colorblind with the jerseys, but I don't know. I'm just sad for you they didn't have the Manning Passing Academy for you because I think you could probably still be playing.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's go to
the whole game is so different now. I mean, just with video. Look, we had videos of our basketball games. It was a video cassette, and instead of just buying a new cassette for each game or recording it, they would erase it every game. So we'd watch the film, and then they would erase over that one video and reuse that one video cassette the whole season. So there are no videos of our basketball season because it was to save money on that that $5 video cassette.
Well, that's good. They did buy
a different world now.
They did replace the rims with steel rims. They replaced them with palm from the palm baskets that they had before. Well, let's go to break. Exactly. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you can always all things. We will be right back.
Used to be, every sentence began with the same two words.
Hey, honey, have you seen my keys?
And you were depended upon as a reliable
Okay, gentlemen,
source of
we have
information.
Pete on the phone. Pete from Harahan. And he has a question about leans. Pete from Harahan and leans.
Everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Providers.
Pete from Harahan and a question about leans.
Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. This summer, try some eco-friendly water sports like paddleboarding, swimming, or diving. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
This year, give her what she really wants. Pearls, emeralds, sapphires, rubies, or those famous Oakland Heart diamonds. Rings, bracelets, earrings, and necklaces. Finer jewelry at the best possible prices. Oakland Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? Okay, this is the last spot in the set. It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri. Albert Nicaud, your weekend warriors. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Pete. Got a question regarding liens. Calling from Harahan. Hey, Pete, with all things legal.
Good morning. A two-part question here. I wanted you all to kind of explain how does liens work, when is the proper time to file them, when are you out of the time period, things of that nature. And the second question is, can you explain this thing called arbitration? Like if you enter into a contract with someone, and I guess in order for you to go to a suit, you have to do something that's called arbitration.
All right, those are sort of 2 different subjects. Albert,
Yeah.
why don't you take the lead?
Real quickly, I'm going to take them in reverse order. I represent a lot of contractors. I represent a lot of subcontractors. And I see these arbitration provisions quite frequently. Personally, I hate them. I tell everybody that I know, take them out of your contracts. You don't want to go to arbitration. There's a difference between arbitration and mediation. People ask that question pretty frequently. Mediation, you and I have a dispute. We agree to go to a mediator. And the mediator is going to sit down and try to convince both of us how bad our cases are, so we'll meet in the middle somewhere and try to settle it. But they have no final authority whatsoever on our dispute. They're only there to try to get us to resolve the dispute amicably. If we don't resolve the dispute, we go on our merry ways and go back to litigation. Arbitration's different. They're very favored. The U.S. Supreme Court has made it very clear that if it's, if the arbitration agreement in a contract provides, it's a proper agreement, it provides for arbitration, then the parties have to go, no two ways about it. They have no other choice. The problem with arbitration is you quite often, especially like in a construction dispute, okay, you quite often get these folks that are trained for 1 week in arbitration. They're not necessarily lawyers. And so, and I find that very often that they're not. And so they don't know construction law. They might know code. They might know what they've done in their practice if they have a contractor's license, but they don't know the ins and outs of the law. And so what happens is they may make a ruling in an arbitration proceeding that is totally contrary to law, but it stands up because you essentially have no appeal rights in an arbitration. And the courts don't want to fool with them because they don't want to relitigate something that's already been litigated in arbitration. And so what happens is, they're very, very limited, fraud, refusing to accept documents or evidence into evidence, those kinds, just very limited reasons why you can appeal an arbitration. And so I'd say you don't have a second bite at the apple on appeal because there is no appealing really for the most part at arbitration. And secondly, you might get a bad result and you're stuck. They don't know the law necessarily, and or you might have a lawyer who's a lawyer but doesn't know construction law, doesn't know the type of law that you're dealing with in your contract. It might be some lawyer that's done personal injury work, and you have a business dispute, and they have no business dispute experience. So anyway, I strongly recommend not taking those out of your contracts if you have them as a contractor.
Let me give you a different context in arbitration too. I've seen, like, if you buy a piece of equipment for your office, it's maybe not very expensive, $500,000. A lot of times you'll sign this contract that will say, if you have a dispute with this piece of equipment, you have to go to arbitration in the state of Washington or in New Jersey. And the reason they do that is because the cost of the process of going to Washington State or New York or Maine or something is greater than the value of the product. And they understand even if their product is not, it doesn't work correctly, the cost of trying to remedy that problem will be more than the value of that product. So a lot of times when you're a businessman and you see you buy something or you buy a service and it says, in the choice of law or arbitration, make sure it doesn't say that if we have a dispute, you go to arbitration, or if we have a dispute, you go to arbitration in the state of Nevada, because that's purposely done so that it'll discourage people from pursuing a remedy if their product doesn't work correctly. So, that's
right.
That's a little
and listen, that also happens just off topic slightly, but still with the topic, in a venue provision or choice of law provision. For instance, we represented a client just recently who signed a contract with a contractor, and the contract said all disputes will be held in a particular city court in the state of Louisiana. There's one particular court. And this is the court where the lawyer who wrote that contract, it lived in that area, in that city. The contractor whose contract it was didn't live in that city. The contract itself was not performed in that city. but the parties agreed to go litigate. And, and the unsuspecting homeowner signs this contract. And now all of a sudden, we're in that lawyer's backyard with the city court right in that lawyer's, probably across the street from that lawyer. And so now we've got to go try this case in an unfavorable venue because that's what the parties agreed to. And so you be careful with those contracts as well. And it's the same type of thing with an arbitration provision. You're forced now to take it out of the court system and go to an arbitration. They say it's cheaper and quicker, but I got to tell you, we just did an arbitration recently. It was a 3-day arbitration, and it was almost $20,000 because there were 3 arbitrators that the contract required. And so by the time we paid the facility and the 3 arbitrators, it was about a $20,000 arbitration, just arbitration costs.
Yeah.
And so,
right. And the reason what made me ask you that real quick, just to throw a loop in the conversation, the job that I did, that I do a lot of, are bank jobs or finance from a realty company. And it's in their clause that when you sign those docs, that if a dispute arises, you have to go through arbitration. So it's not something that I put in or even a client put in. It's just a bank type deal. It's a government bank deal,
Because they know that it favors them. And that's why it's in there, because if it wasn't favorable to the bank, then they wouldn't put it in that contract. Now, depending, look, an arbitration clause, there's a 500, 1,000 different ways to write them, right? And so the parties agree as to who the arbitrator is, or AAA agrees, or this, you have to go to this arbitration company. It has to be a lawyer. It has to be a contract. I mean, there's a million different provisions you can put, stipulations you can put into an arbitration agreement. So maybe have somebody take a look at it and just make sure it's not what's called adhesionary, where only one side has all the authority and the upper hand in it, and just make sure that it's fair and balanced. And then at that point you do your best to search for the right arbitrator.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay. And then the last one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If you could talk about the liens.
Yeah, real quickly, they changed the law very recently, about a year or so ago, and it's very similar. Time periods are somewhat different. One of the issues is on a contract. Again, whether it is a Public Works Act or a Private Works Act, Public Works with public buildings up subject to public bid, whether municipalities or federal jobs, and then the Private Works Act sounds like you're doing working for private companies, private banks. Even though it's commercial, it's a Private Works Act. You, as a general contractor, if the cost of the work exceeds $1,000, you have to file a notice of contract with the parish in which the property is located prior to the performance of any work being done. And so what that does is that limits the lien periods and in terms of what other subcontractors and their duration after the job is substantially completed or the owner has taken possession, it limits their time period more to a shorter period of time than if there is no notice of contract filed. So you want to be sure to file that notice of contract. And then when you file a lien, you want to make sure that the lien is properly filed, that the addresses are properly there, the owner, the contractor, the subcontractor, the property description, the amount of the lien, all of that stuff is done properly. And then, of course, it needs to be notarized and submitted. So if you fail on one of those issues, they can ask you to remove that lien. And if you don't do it timely, they can actually get attorney's fees against the person filing the lien for failing to remove it. Just handled a case in Orleans Parish 2 weeks ago. Same thing. They filed the lien improperly. We demanded that they removed it, and finally after we got to trial, they agreed to remove the lien. So it's important to protect your interests, but it's very strict and technical. If you do some things wrong, your lien will get thrown out, and you may be subject to attorney's fees and even damages for filing that lien. So be careful with that.
All right, so let's go to a break. Thanks for the call, Pete. We'll be back right after this brief time out on All Things Legal.
When staying informed is non-negotiable.
I need weather, the news,
the local stuff, and being connected is a must.
24-hour news cycle.
Kept me informed what's going on.
You're never more than one touch
Okay, we have Jimmy on the line. Jimmy from Gretna. And he has a question about the legality of a vaccination demand from his employer.
With the Odyssey app.
I can do it on my phone.
Anywhere at any time.
Download it today and stream WWL anytime, anywhere.
Paid for by the Sentinel Group, non-attorney spokesperson. Attention. This is an important message for anyone diagnosed with Parkinson's disease after being exposed to paraquat or other similar herbicides. Paraquat is a chemical commonly used by farmers and those that work with or apply herbicides. Residences near agricultural sites are also at risk for exposure. Scientific research showed that exposure to paraquat close to a residence increased Parkinson's disease risk by 75%. Numerous additional studies confirmed the link between paraquat and increased risk for Parkinson's. In fact, paraquat has been banned or limited for use in many other countries around the world. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with Parkinson's after being exposed to paraquat or other herbicides and suffered side effects, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call us today at 800-376-8881. Our experienced attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-376-8881. Again, that's 800-376-8881.
It's here. Now through Sunday, Diamonds Direct Spectacular Summer Store-Wide Sale. Save an extra 20% on virtually every ring, every pair of earrings, every bracelet, every band, and so much more. We're talking extreme values. Don't miss this once-a-year chance to get Diamonds Direct's best price minus an extra 20%. Top designers are here as well with all new collections, all on sale. You can't miss this incredible summer event. Best prices and extra savings store-wide. Going on now through Sunday at 5 p.m. Only at Diamonds Direct on Severn Avenue across from Lakeside Mall.
Doing your best work from home is not easy when you don't have the right space. California Closets will help you create a custom solution that works for you, your family, and your life. Whether it's a small space, shared space, multifunctional space, or kids space, our professional design consultants will help you get organized and make your space one that works better for you. Now you can love where you live and work. Schedule your free in-home or virtual design consultation today at CaliforniaClosets.com.
Do you have Medicare and Medicaid? You may be entitled to better benefits with People's Health, including a $300 per quarter allowance for over-the-counter health and wellness items, a $55 per month allowance for healthy foods, free transportation to medical appointments, a free gym membership, and dental, vision, and hearing coverage. If you have Medicare and Medicaid, take a look at the benefits of People's Health. Learn more at peopleshealth.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern, conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. And with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The ruby slippers from the
Here's the
Wizard of
last
Oz
spot
are
in the
some
set.
of the most iconic objects in Hollywood history. And in the summer of 2005, a pair was stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in the small town of Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
All she said was, "They're gone. They're gone."
Welcome to No Place Like Home. a documentary podcast series that investigates the mysterious heist of the Ruby Slippers. Please listen and follow No Place Like Home, a presentation of C13 Originals, a Cadence 13 studio, available now on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Oakland Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Sunseri, Alfred Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. Let's go to the phone line. Let's go to Jimmy. He's got a question regarding vaccinations. Hey, Jimmy, you know all things legal.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, good.
Hey, I'll make it real quick. My employer is increasingly putting pressure on me to take the COVID vaccine, whether it be the Moderna or the Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson. I have my reservations. I haven't done it yet. And, the vaccine just rolled out, 5 months ago? And regardless of your stance or my stance on it, I just feel like it's a personal choice and I have a personal right to decline the vaccine. Now, I feel like the process in the country, and also with my job, even with my children at their school, is leading to a point where I guess my question is, how do I protect myself and my family, keep my job, protect my children? One goes to a public school, and I know that although they're just, I can handle the mask and whatnot, but when they start pushing this agenda to just make it mandatory, or you can't go to school, or you can't work, how does this tie into the Nuremberg codes, and how do I protect myself and my job and my way of life? Or maybe some other listeners can relate to this, because you can see the writings on the wall. I mean, at least lately with this new variant, where they, they're blaming the unvaccinated. So my employer has increasingly put pressure on me the last week or two with the news of the Delta variant, and I want to know what rights I have. Now, I've heard before on your show where someone called in and said, the employer has the right to do this in some ways. But I mean, if this is if we cannot move, if unvaccinated people cannot move in society anymore, at what point is this illegal? Or are we at the point now where they're just going to override all the Nuremberg codes and push these vaccines on us, whether we like it or not?
Well, let me ask you: do you work for a government agency or a private employer?
He fell off the line.
Okay, he fell off. Okay, here, I'm going to give you the law. I'm not giving an opinion on vaccinations. Okay, so I'm going to preface it with that I'll give you the law, and this is why government is probably not mandating it, because it's illegal to mandate it. The vaccinations have been authorized under emergency use authorization by the federal government, and that's it's a EUA, which is commonly known. It's under federal law statute 21 USC 360 BBB 3, and basically what it states is anytime a vaccination is mandated under an emergency use authorization, they cannot be mandated by government. And in fact, it also specifically states that if the vaccination, if there's any laws that conflict with that mandate that is federal law, it is preempted, meaning that if a state law tries to mandate the vaccination, it is not, it is overridden by the federal law under the emergency use authorization. Now, as far as, so therefore, that's why schools, quote, pressure. That's why they may go door to door to do the vaccinations, because they do not have the legal authority to mandate them at this point. Now, if they become approved by the, become approved by the FDA, then they can mandate it like they do other vaccinations. But since it's still under emergency use authorization, they cannot mandate it. Now, as far as Louisiana law is concerned, a government entity cannot, if you work for the government, they can't mandate that you take the vaccination. They can put restrictions on you, meaning you have to wear a mask, you have to isolate, and all those type of things. But they can't mandate that as part of the terms and conditions of employment. They had a case in 2005 with the U.S. Navy, I think, where the anthrax vaccination was was under the emergency use authorization, and the court said no, you can't do that because it's not approved by the FDA, and you can't make soldiers or require soldiers to take the vaccination. Now, in Louisiana, we have an at-will employment, which means in absence of a written contract for a specific period of time, you can't fire anyone for a non-discriminatory reason. In other words, you can fire them for whatever you want as long as it's not based on age, race, religion, national origin, or disability. So therefore, in an at-will employment, you can fire anyone for any reason. You can not like the type of shoes they wear, and they could fire you. You could be fired. So you have those competing factors. I personally don't think an employer can fire you based on not taking the vaccination because of the emergency use authorization. But as a practical matter, if someone loses their job, to file some type of lawsuit is not going to help them in the short term, because any lawsuit would take years and years to process. So that's why I think employers strongly encourage employees to do it, but they don't. I haven't heard a lot of situations where they said, take the vaccination or you're fired. Now, they'll put all kinds of pressure. So basically, the reason why the vaccinations cannot be mandated at this point in time is because of the emergency use authorization, whereby the government cannot mandate vaccinations that are not approved, have final approval with the FDA. So that I'm not giving an opinion as to whether you should take them or not take them. I'm not giving an opinion. I'm just telling you what the law is. And that may help you understand as to why the president wouldn't just say you have to have mandatory vaccinations. And he would have people going door to door, whatever he's going to do, is because they have to try to persuade people to take the vaccination from government's point of view. Unfortunately, the way the government uses a heavy-handed method of trying to persuade people with lotteries and all this other kind of incentives, it raises a lot of suspicion as to why they're making us do this, as some people say. Why do they have to use these methods? So, from a legal standpoint, and this is the short version, I don't think, for the most part, and this is probably not a popular thing to say, I'm just reading the law. You cannot mandate the vaccinations under emergency use authorization. That's the explanation for that. So, as far as, if you're in a situation, in an employment situation, and you get pressured, those are personal decisions that I guess you have to make, but I don't think they can mandate it. And a lot of people have strong opinions about that.
And the thing that will likely happen in Louisiana, because it is an at-will state, meaning we can fire you because of the wear, and you can quit for any reason too without any repercussion. They may be, kind of scrutinizing your efforts at work and say, "Oh, look, you showed up.
Yeah.
We're going to fire you because you're 10 minutes late."
Yeah.
And so now we're getting rid of the people that have not showed us their papers and prove compliance. And I've got a big concern with that too, because from a privacy standpoint, this whole privacy thing under the Fourth Amendment became very, very much in the forefront when the HIV epidemic in the late 70s, early 80s came out, and they were, people were afraid of the whole AIDS thing. Nobody knew what would happen if you could, stand next to somebody and catch it and everything else. And so there was a lot of fear mongering and fear going on. And so the U.S. Supreme Court protected that a person's privacy as to what their physical, medical conditions might be, HIPAA Act and everything else. So now, I got to think that if somebody's asking whether or not I have been vaccinated and required I think it's a HIPAA violation.
Well, the courts have ruled that asking if you had a vaccination or not is not a HIPAA violation. But if you go deeper than that, it would be. Just you have to stop at asking if there's a vaccine, if you've been vaccinated or not. So it's it's a very complex question, and as far as the employers are concerned, yes, the ones who do not get vaccinated, there's a lot of pressure. Now, there's a definite exception. If your doctor says the vaccination, if they don't, based on that employee's history and based his medical history, such as he might have a neurological problem, may have epilepsy or something, where this vaccination, due to the unknown side effects, could be harmful to another condition that may pose a greater risk than COVID, and you have a note from a doctor saying that, you don't have to take it. That would be a clear violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So, if some people, it's a personal decision based on your age, your health, your physical history. It's different for everyone. It's not one size fits all. And if a doctor makes an opinion or is willing to write an opinion stating that we think that for this particular patient with this history, with this medical background, that the vaccination would not be in his best interest, and I recommend against it, then I believe the employer would definitely 100% have to honor that. All right, that'll probably start a lot of controversy, but that's the law. I'm just a weatherman. I'm just repeating the weather. I'm not giving an opinion on it. So that's it is what it is. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you can enjoy all things legal. We'll be right back after the break.
Have you noticed the first four letters of the word paint is pain? P-A-I-N? Hey, it's Newell, and I don't know about you, but I don't like pain, and I don't like the pain of painting my home year after year, not to mention the cost. That's why I'm having my home coated with Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic coating that comes
Oh, look at about 4.5 minutes to the top of the hour, end of the show.
Stucco, hardy board, and vinyl. So do what I did and call for a free estimate, 504-407-2222, 407-2222, or visit rhinosshieldmidsouth.com. Listen, here's the bottom line with Rhino Shield. You'll never have to paint your home or business again, guaranteed. Rhino Shield is perfect for the Gulf Coast climate, resists mold and fading, and it's more affordable than you think. So call now for your free estimate, 504-407-2222, 407-2222, or visit rhinosshieldmidsouth.com.
This is Paul LaGrange, host of the Home Improvement Show. My friends at Burkhardt Air Conditioning and Heating want you to be comfortable, and they want you and your family to be safe. That's why they asked me to talk about Generac automatic standby generators. When the power goes out, Generac generators from Burkhardt will keep the lights on. Refrigerator, air conditioning, sump up, it's all up and running instantly. So next time a storm hits, don't be left in the dark. Talk to Burkhardt about a Generac generator. Visit acpromise.com and tell them Paul sent you.
Bobby Hebert here from my friends at Clearwater Pools and Spas, your staycation headquarters. Let us turn your backyard into a great family vacation spot, from the pool and the spa to the Triga Pellet Grill. Visit cwnolan.com or one of our locations in Covington, Metairie, Baton Rouge, and Pearl, Mississippi.
Plan the retirement you've always dreamed of. Listen to Your Money Matters Saturday mornings at 7 here on WWL, the news, talk, and sports powerhouse of the Gulf South.
Hey, Homa, we want your stuff. DependableStorage.com.
The thing about the Home and Auto Bundle from Progressive is that by now you've heard a lot of ads about the Home and Auto Bundle from Progressive. We don't even need the words "the Home and Auto Bundle" anymore to tell you that you could save big with the ring-tailed lemur from Progressive, or that every hot peach cobbler comes with round-the-clock service and protection. And that's the thing about the goat with magic powers. You've heard a lot of ads about the sushi in Vancouver. See how much you could save with the Home and Auto with the Shaman in the Jungle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Enjoy a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies' Black Friday and July event. Get amazing savings with up to 50% off high-performance computers and tech built for business, and be able to take your office with you with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, get great offers on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877 877-ASK-DELL and speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today.
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. During summer, be sure to use dishwashers and stoves in the evening to minimize the effects of heat. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
All things legal on WWL, AMFM.com, and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyer. We talked about vaccinations. I just want to make it very clear. I'm not giving any opinions because it's like going to Thanksgiving dinner and saying, "Hey, how about that Trump?" And then a fight ensues. I'm not starting a fight. So,
right.
But what I'm saying is this: this is the law, and I'm just reporting what the law is. Now, some outlets don't want to report the law because they don't agree with it. But I'm just telling you what the law is. And bank it. If you're under emergency use authorization, the government cannot mandate the vaccination. Number two, if there's ever final approval by the FDA and they take it out, the emergency use authorization, it can be mandated. That's the law. So while it's under the emergency use authorization, state government, federal government, schools cannot mandate it. Period. And that's why they have it for the most part. Now they have done other things to encourage. They'll say, okay, if you don't get a vaccination, then you have to wear a mask to class, or you can't socialize with other students. They'll put restrictions, and that's a topic for another show, probably during the week, and not on the weekend with us. So that's basically the law, and and that's why there hasn't been a mandate. But there's been, I guess, pressure exerted by government to do it, and employers, but not a mandate. There you go, Albert.
Yeah, so I've got a good friend who was with some college buddies. There were 11 of them. One guy showed up, and he had been exposed to COVID, unbeknownst to him. They spent the weekend together. 6 of them came down with COVID. All 6 of them had the vaccination. And so, they're mandating a vaccination that, is 6 out of 11 came down with COVID after being vaccinated. And so I don't know. Should I be vaccinated? Why am I taking risks that are unknown to be vaccinated when, in my example, one little example of somebody I know across the whole world, right? But but somebody sees an anecdotal thing like that and says, you know what? I may not want to have this vaccination, and I think it should be their right to do so. But
even
one way or the other, I'm not promoting it or not promoting it one way or the other. But I think it's my body. It's I should have right to determine what medicine I take. So
all right, well that's
there
you
go.
North Carolina State in the World Series, 4 of the players were vaccinated. 2 of them caught it. But we'll see you next week in all things legal. Have a great week.
There you go.
We'll see you next Sunday.
The News Talk Sports Powerhouse, WWL News.